afternoon and welcome to the Sober Heathen podcast. I'm the Sober Heathen and the lighting in here is terrible. Also, that's a nice cold Dr. Pepper, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Sober Heathen podcast. I am the Sober Heathen. Midday podcast. A lot going on in the past week or two with my grandma passing. I thank everybody for the well wishes that they sent me. It was very uncomfortable, emotional, and fatigued podcast I did with Lindsay and by myself last time. But anybody that did listen to that, I appreciate that. And again, thank you for the well wishes. Tomorrow, I have Mary Beth on, who is the author of From Junkie to Judge. I'm looking forward to that. Talk a little bit about her story and also talk a little bit about her thoughts of what she sees in the system right now with people and how people are treated. And, it kind of segues into what I wanted to talk about here a little bit today because, this might be a rough one for some people. And I've actually took some notes, and that's something that this dude doesn't do very often. I wrote some notes down. I'm going to read from them just so I remember kind of the topics that I wanted to talk about. In the job that I have and seeing a variety of people come in every single day, mostly sent from the court systems, there are quite a few people that come in asking for help on their own, which is amazing to see. It's amazing either way. Because if you're coming in and you're being sent by the courts, that means you're not in a cage, and that's a win, in my opinion, because you are going to get nothing out of being in a cage except for boredom and maybe pick up a few poor traits that you might not have had to originally. Toward the last stint, I wasn't even in there that long. It was kind of comfortable. It was just easy. You wake up, you eat your food, you trade some away, you go back to sleep and lay in your cot, or you write or watch TV. You get up, you have lunch, you do the same thing, and that was your process in jail. I mean, it sucks ass, don't get me wrong, but it's not hard. Excuse me. But there obviously there's stigma out there for people that aren't in the recovery area, whether it being in addiction yourself and then in recovery, or a family member that's lived through it for you who understands. Obviously, there's stigma with people that don't get it, but there is still a strong judgmental and stigmatic feel in the recovery community. And I've talked about it on the lesser amount of, in meetings or on social media. Somebody will have a couple months, couple weeks, and they relapse, and everybody's like, "Oh, well, you weren't ready. What'd you do wrong? Where did it go wrong? Well, you weren't working the steps. Did you call your sponsor? Here's a list of things that you didn't do, stupid." And so you're going to have that no matter where you go, and we've talked about that at length. But what has amazed me this past few days, past week or something or so, has been the willingness for people to want to see people suffer more. To be, some people call them consequences, and that's fine. You can call them consequences because they are consequences, but some people want to see people get the full amount of consequences possible for their actions. So I'm going to start with one story that I read this week, where it was a pilot who was about to get into a cockpit and fly. And from what I remember from the story, he had 2 bottles of Jaeger on him. One was half gone. Somebody stopped him, good on that person for stopping him, gave him a breathalyzer, saw that he was very drunk, and they stopped him from getting in the cockpit of that plane. Now, I'm not an expert on piloting, but I know there's more than one pilot on most planes. I also know that those things can fly themselves. So I am not justifying this dude's actions whatsoever. That's not what I'm doing. But I am defending him because he is clearly sick. Now, whether you believe this addiction is a disease or not, that's totally up to you. But the addiction is a terrible thing, and it is a sickness in a way, I believe. And you are not in your right mind, especially when you have your substance of choice in your body. So it could have been a catastrophe. And the key word there is it could have been a catastrophe. If he would have gotten on that plane and something would have happened, he could have cost not only the lives the people on the plane, but the people below him too. And I'm not trying to degrade how bad this could have been. So as I think about this, and you know, I've gotten conversations with people. You know, this dude, you know, he from what I read in the article, I think he got 10 months in jail or something like that. And I don't know what the rest of the punishment was. And then he might have a chance to get his license back. And there's so many people like, hell no, he should never get his license back. You know, you know, 10 months wasn't enough. And it's like, so yesterday I brought the question up. We just need to slow the fuck down and think for a second. Think about your situation right now. And if you're not in addiction or not in recovery, you can still think this way too. Think about not getting a paycheck for a week and how rough that would be. Okay. Now let's go to the standard like 30 days. 30 days is a pretty typical sentence for somebody that's in addiction for a nonviolent crime. And I use quote and crime because in addiction, you cannot hurt anyone and still be put in a cage for a substantial amount of time. So imagine losing your paycheck and contact with your family for 30 days and how that would affect your life. Just think about that for a second. Just 30 whole days. Okay. Now, I know some people out there, some dudes and probably some females are out there like, God, I wish I could get away for 30 days. But in all seriousness, no paycheck, no income, and you're getting charged to be taken away from your family, and you're put in a cage with a bunch of strangers. Don't even put that in the equation. Just think of taking out of your livelihood for 30 days. And then really think about it for a second and think how that would affect your life. Now, how bad would it be after 2 months? How bad would it be after 3 months? Imagine being taken out of your livelihood, your job, and away from your family for a year. Okay. Now, people that are out there hurting people that have actually hurt people and caused serious harm, that's a completely different story. I'm talking about people that are in there for their addiction, whether it be carrying drugs, whether it be drunk driving, who didn't hurt anybody, and they're being taken out and away from their family and their loved ones and the ability to actually get real fucking help. 30, 60, 90, 10 months, a year or more. And just think about how that would affect you, right? Now, the popular theory, and maybe it's not a theory, maybe it really is a disease. I'm undecided on that. At one time I thought it was, then I'm kind of like, maybe it's not, maybe it's more than that. But the medical field and through therapy, everybody calls addiction a disease. So you have this disease, you consume a substance because of this disease. This substance helps you not think properly, and you make a poor decision, and now you find yourself being punished for these poor decisions. Again, the key word here is could when I'm talking about this stuff. And I know it's going to flip some freaking testicles, me talking about this stuff, but I'm trying to make my point as clear as possible here without making it sound like I'm defending people and we should just allow people to go out and drink and drive. That is not what I'm saying. That is not what I'm saying. I'm saying we're looking at what happened. Okay? So this dude and so many people are thinking this pilot should never get a second chance. That breaks my heart. Because if this is a disease and this dude is struggling like I struggled, and he's fighting, now that this has happened, maybe flying was his dream. And some people are like, who cares? Look at what could have happened. I know what could have happened, but it didn't because somebody did their job. So let's go to that word could for a second and think about that, okay? Let's think about this could crap. If you're listening to this and you're in recovery, how many times did you drink and drive or use and drive and did not get caught? How many times did you do that? Just think about it for a second. Because I have 4 OWIs right now, and I could have 50. Okay? How many times did you get behind a wheel? How many times did you go somewhere and drink all night, sleep there, and then get up still fucking drunk and drive home the next morning while the school buses were out? Kids crossing the street, kids walking to school. How many times did you do that? I would bet a bunch of money that all these people that want to hold these guys, and this is the recovery community on X, that want to hold this guy's feet to the fire, what could happen on there. Let's just forget all the stupid shit that we did, all the times we didn't get caught. It's fine because we didn't get caught and we didn't hurt anybody. Well, what happened to the could? What happened to the could? Every time that you drank and drove, you could have killed somebody. You could have killed a family. You could have hit a bus of people. You could have hit a power line that caused a fire or a power outage in hospitals or nursing homes. All these things could have happened. Where's the could there? I'm just saying we are so quick to jump on people and want to bury them with fines and cages and consequences for a bad choice because we can sit back and we can judge them from a distance without really thinking about ourselves. I have 4 OWIs, I could have 50. Maybe that's why I have some compassion. Maybe I'm extremely grateful that I didn't hurt anybody, and maybe you are too, and you probably are grateful that you didn't hurt anybody. But once we start sitting back here and like, oh yeah, fry him because he did this. He's a pilot and that's a plane. It's the same fucking thing. Yeah, the numbers are a little bit bigger, but doing something stupid and doing something dangerous it's either stupid and dangerous or it's not. Okay, so if you're the type of person, oh my God, well, I have 1 OWI, but he's got 3. He needs to lose his license forever. He needs to be put behind bars until he learns his lesson. I hope they put him away for a long time. Oh, he's got 4. He should go away for a long time. Yeah, never get his license back. How many times did you drink and drive and not get caught? I'm willing to bet that it was more than the number of OWIs or DUIs, whatever you want to call it, drunk drivings that you got. So if that's how you really feel, I want you to go right now, put your phone down, turn off your laptop, turn off your PC, wherever you're listening. I want you to go to the local sheriff's department and I want you to turn yourself in because of what could have fucking happened. Go turn yourself in right now. We don't want to show grace to people that have a disease or a sickness that maybe don't know how to get out. Instead, I want to reach that hand out and give them a chance to have the life that I have now. I have a great fucking life right now. Pretty damn good. Got a great job. Got a great woman in my life. Got great kids. My kids, for the first time in over 2 years, want to come and spend the night at my house. But some people, the way they act, because I got 4 OWIs and 2 of them within like a year of each other, some people would think that I should be in prison right now. And I know there's a hell of a lot of people that think I should never get my driver's license back. So just think about it for a second. If you're that person that looks at this pilot and thinks that he needs to be buried for the rest of his fucking life, go turn yourself in. Go turn yourself in right now. Do the right thing because you could have hurt somebody. I'm going to add something else here. So if we're going to allow law enforcement to do all these good things, how far do we let them go? Are we going to be okay with cops coming into bars while you're enjoying some drinks with some friends or family members and start searching people to see who has keys? Start breathalyzing you at the dinner table, breathalyzing you when you walk out the door because you could be over the limit? Is that what we want? Why not? It could happen. Happens every night. I guarantee it. Every night. I live in a pretty big city. Every night there's probably dozens, hundreds of people going out to dinner, going to a bar, having a few drinks, driving home over the limit. What could happen? I think we should have the cops come in and seize everybody's keys, and you can't get them back until the cop gives you a blow. Yeah? Why not take it farther? Why not, with March Madness going on right now, why not allow people to come in your home because you own your home and you own a vehicle and you're drinking at home? You could want to run down to Burger King. It's halftime. Let's go get Burger King. Let's go get Taco Bell. You could drive down there and something could happen. Could. Save the cops the trouble. If that's how you feel, you want to bury people for having an addiction and they go out, they do something dangerous. I'm not disagreeing that. And I'm not saying there shouldn't be any consequences, but let's get these people help. months and months in jail, away from your livelihood, taking the license so you can't get to work, you can't go see your kids. I got people coming into my building that are great people, and they're missing time with their children because they can't drive. They're missing time with their children because they got to meet all these regulations. They're just not realistic. And yes, they standardize them across the board because it's easier for the court systems, because court systems are so fucking busy, they don't know what to do with themselves. They can't take the time to and look at the evidence and look at the things that are happening in each case because they don't have the fucking time. It took 2.5 years for me to get charged for my third OWI. I was out driving the roads for a year and a half of that before I put myself into treatment. But a year and a half, I was out driving on the roads, still drinking too. And right, Adam, but it's more than thoughts, and I understand where people are coming from. It's more than thoughts when you get behind the wheel and you drive. It is dangerous and it is stupid. But let's put our heads together to find a way to stop that. We made a choice one time that seatbelts were mandatory, right? So you get pulled over for not wearing a seatbelt. Find me a car manufacturer that will put some kind of sensor in the steering wheel that can test your pores for alcohol. Put a blow and go in every car. I don't know. Let's think of some other things. That's not taking away your freedom before you do something wrong, right? It's taking away if the car's like, oh shit, you've been drinking, I can't go anywhere. But instead, all this stuff is happening, and then we take a sick person and we bury them. If I didn't live where I lived right now and pay, $14 to go 3 miles down the road to my work, and it's a different kind of 3 miles, but it's Michigan too, so it's not like I have an option to walk, and I know that's where everybody's going to go. Everybody's always got something to come up with. Oh, you could just walk. Yeah, well, you come walk in the middle of a Michigan winter 3 miles and tell me how you're going to look when you get to work. I made the choices, and I am not, this isn't a crybaby thing. I'm just saying we could do better. And we could absolutely be kinder to one another, to people that are out there struggling. Because I was at a point where people could have looked at me, like I said, and said, he needs to be put away for a very long fucking time. And he never needs to see his license. He never needs to have a chance to work again. That's okay, because this asshole got 4 DUIs. And again, every time somebody goes to that, I want you to think back of how many times you could have had it. How many times you could have done that. And then if you still believe that way, walk your ass down to your local police department, turn yourself in. Yeah, and like Miley just said, to go back to that OWI that took 2.5 years from the charge, I didn't even know I had one. They didn't take my license. They didn't take my, they impounded my Jeep, but they didn't take the license plate. They didn't take my license. They didn't give me a ticket. They gave me nothing. We thought because it was COVID that, oh, well, I just got lucky. But so, I mean, the system's not perfect, but I think the system could be better if they weren't overloaded with a bunch of people sitting in a cage that never hurt anybody. But they're all in there because they could have hurt somebody sometime. Let's look at what happened. Let's be thankful that nobody got hurt. How about that? Let's be thankful. Let's get these people into a treatment center. We know treatment centers are freaking looking to devour some insurance money to get people in their beds when they have an opening. And that's a discussion for another time. But it really pissed me off this week seeing how eager people in the recovery community on X were to dive bomb and attack people. So when it comes to these things, if I would have been out there and I would have been driving, I would have killed somebody, then I should be in prison because I took a life. I should still be allowed to get some help in there and hope, to redeem myself with my family in some way. If they would have me, I should still have some options. But when the bad things don't happen, let's be grateful for that, and let's get some people some help. And I'm not kidding. My go-to from here on out, if you want to condemn somebody that did something that could have hurt somebody when it comes to the addiction, and they didn't, and you want to see them fried, 10 months. 10 months this dude was in jail. 10 months. Go do the math. And think of how your life would change at 10 months without a job, at 10 months without being able to hug your children and your loved ones. Go think about that for a minute. 10 months. Well, I did 2 years in jail one time, and then I could do that shit standing on my head. I've heard that shit before too. You're just a different breed. But most people, if they sat and thought about 10 months without their family, being able to hug and kiss their children and be able to make money and provide for their family, would be absolutely devastated. 10 months, that a month would be devastating to a lot of people. So let's grace. I haven't read this comment yet, but the first word is grace. Grace and compassion can be so valuable, and kindness and understanding, when noted, can lead to good stuff. I only have one DUI, but could and should have 2,176. I'm with you, Ellie. I was shooting way fucking low. Pardon my French. I was shooting way low when I said 50. 50 in a month. I could have 50 per month for the 15, 20 years that I was drinking. It was standard operating procedure. So maybe some of you listen to this and think that I should march my ass down to the sheriff's office and be like, hey, look, this is what I did. Maybe. I don't think I should do that. I'm grateful that I didn't hurt anybody. And I'm grateful for the lessons that I've learned. And I'm grateful for the opportunities that people have given me, both in the world, in the recovery community, and within my family. I'm grateful beyond expression. So it's the middle of a Friday, 25 people watching right now on YouTube. That's pretty impressive. Thank you for that. If anybody has any comments before I sign off, this is a solo one that I like to keep short and sweet. Let me know what you think. Shoot me some comments. Tell me how far I'm off. But it really kind of hurts. It hurts because I see these people come into my office every single day that are miserable and hurting and just want and need a chance. There's some people that come in that don't care, but the ones that come in there and they want a chance, they're worth saving, man. They're worth saving. They're worth giving a chance. And I'm going to give them every chance that I can. There's not a whole lot this guy can do, and I follow the rules at work, and I'm not going to bend any rules for anybody, but if they need somebody to talk to, there's dudes in my card at work has my personal cell phone number on it for some reason, and I've had guys text me. If I can hear a text in the middle of the night and respond, I'm going to do it. If I can take a call, I'm going to do it. Some of these guys are walking in here. I had one client that crashed his car into a party store. 19 years old. Oh my God, how many people could he have killed? How many people were in that party store? Let's start tallying up the coulds and let's put that 19-year-old kid away. Let's do it. Dude shouldn't be out there. He's a menace to society. Right? Screw that disease shit. Screw that illness, that addiction stuff. Nope. Just a bad, bad kid. And he deserves to be fried for all the things that could have happened. There could have been a 115-year-old woman carrying her 2-month-old grandson down the sidewalk. That could have happened. That's 20 years. Right? Again, we need consequences for the things that we do that put people in danger. But we don't need to bury people alive, especially when we're going to go around and we're going to talk about how this thing is a disease. It's an illness. It's a sickness, whatever word you want to use. We're going to have doctors treat it this way. We're going to have therapists treat it this way. Let's help the sick people get better. Thank you so much for listening to this podcast. It means the world to me to see the numbers go up like that. Again, find me on YouTube, Facebook, find me on X. Email me, thesoberheathen@yahoo.com. Tell me how bad I am, and that's fine too. I like to hear the bad with the good. I don't like to hear it, but it's fun to read sometimes, get a good chuckle. Or maybe I'll learn something. I like to put these things out there that might ruffle some feathers because it's how I feel in the moment, but that doesn't have to be how I feel forever. So I like to learn. I like to have discussions. So again, Thank you so much for listening, and we'll catch you on the next one. Take care, guys.